Yeah, Diablo 4 had it was open beta this weekend. It's just had the closed beta or early access beta the weekend just gone.
Yeah.
What did you all think of it?
Oh, good.
I really enjoyed it.
I really, really liked it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would.
Yeah, same. I was like, for me, I enjoyed playing it, and then I was like, oh, it's Diablo, and then it got to the talent system, and I was like, oh, okay, I like this now.
Even then, I think it started off like strong enough. Like I feel like they didn't just vomit skills at you like they normally do.
Yeah.
Which I think was quite a nice change of pace for Diablo. Because normally it's like you've killed 7 mobs is your first skill. You killed another 10 mobs is your second skill. Now make choices.
I liked. I felt like the fact that you can re-roll your talents really early as well for free means I was like fiddling around a lot trying to just like try different abilities.
Yeah.
What did you play? I played Sorcerer.
A sorcerer.
I played Barbarian by myself and Sorcerer with my girlfriend Erin.
Oh, you did twice. You did twice then.
I played Barbarian.
Now,
so Sam, how you want to talk about the balance a little bit?
Yeah. That's good, because here's the thing: I was playing through, right, and I was like, okay, like the bosses are actually quite challenging. That's nice, but it's standard Diablo. And then you listen to everyone else playing, and they're like, you take damage, you get hit.
yeah.
And I'm like, I'm a barbarian. I have to walk up to every mob as they do this swing that you can't really dodge. Like, you have a dodge. Are there iframes? I don't think there's iframes.
Didn't feel like the dodge was very useful at all, But except for when they were, like, super obvious.
Big
like, that first boss does the jump up slam down move, and that was like, okay, dodge. I see what dodge here, right? That's what it's there for, sort of thing.
Yeah.
I think it might have also just been latency, because I did the world boss.
Did you?
I did it once. Didn't finish it. We got it down to like the final pip of health. But it has this big sweeping attack, and I would try dodge rolling, and I would try like teleporting, because sorcerers have a blink, and I would like be safe, and then I would still die. So I think it was kind of latency issue as well sometimes.
Yeah. Oh no, you carry on. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say, because that's one negative of the weekend I had was it wasn't running the best. Sometimes it ran fine, but especially in the open worldy sections, it would stutter a lot.
I had one issue when we first started playing. We started on the Friday. I was playing with Laura, and we got like half an hour in, and it just cacked itself and kicked us out. And then the queue was like an hour to get back in. So we're like, okay, not playing now. And then I tried again on the Sunday, and it was absolutely fine from start to finish on Sunday. I don't feel like I had any problems on that day. A lot of people had like, played what they wanted and left. So I was just on the tail end or something.
I played a lot through Saturday. I didn't play during the first day or the first few hours because there was always going to be issues then.
Yeah.
But Saturday, this game ran buttery smooth for me.
I got that new PC.
I also had no problem.
Yeah, I had a pretty decent time as well. There was a few hitches here and there, really minor, but nothing that was like annoying me.
Like mine was playable. It's just like, especially out in the open world, especially when like loading into new areas, it would stutter a little bit. It was still like playable, but I also tried turning everything down to low, because usually my PC can run stuff on high usually and be fine. Sometimes I have to turn it down to medium. I turned every single option down to low, and it was still having the problems. So I was like, oh, it's not a graphical thing. It must just be like.
Yeah,
I think because my girlfriend had the same problem where it was like on first load, it's like whenever we did the new thing once, it was like, so it's streaming in something that's making the game stutter for her, at least. But that only lasted for like half an hour, not even that, like 20 minutes, half an hour, and then for the rest of the session she was absolutely fine.
I found cutscenes were a little iffy sometimes, where it would be chucking the camera all over the place in a cutscene, and every new sort of camera, it would have to really suddenly load in
It felt like
textures.
playing an old Unreal game.
Yes, I was going to say that. It's almost that's spot on. It's like, give me a second. I've got to load these textures.
Everyone looks like a morph character for a second, and it's like, oh, we're here now, are we? Okay.
See, I skipped all the cutscenes because I want to watch them when I play the actual game. So
that's what I was there for. The cutscenes in this were great. I thought they were brilliant.
I was shocked how good they were.
Yes,
I don't. I want to. The same reason, like, I didn't even hit max level in the beta, right?
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to wear myself out, because I was having a good time.
Yeah.
I could have done nothing but Diablo 4 over the entire weekend.
Yeah.
I don't want to wear myself out. I am now looking forward to this game.
Yeah, I did the same. It was Sunday for me. I had the whole day, not the whole day free. We went away for the weekend, but we got back in maybe like 1-2 p.m. on Sunday, and I was playing it, and it was like 5-6 p.m. I think, and I still had the whole evening, and I made the active decision to just stop playing because I was, in my head, I'm like, I'm going to buy this. Like, I'm having a lot of fun. I'm going to get this. Why finish all of Act 1 now and get blue balls by probably something right at the end when I can just play it in 3 months?
Like I said, I played a lot. I got my main character to 25, which is the max for the beta, and I got my alt. It's weird. It feels weird to say about a Diablo game, but my alt that I was playing with Aaron, I got to 21 or 22, I think. But that was all. None of that was doing story. Basically, I did like maybe 2 main missions. Because it's all open world now. You can just go wherever.
Scalable,
yeah, it's all scalable open world.
There are zones where it's like, okay, it's scalable from level 20, from level 30, stuff like that. But
it's kind of weird because it's like Diablo's. It's sort of open world, right? Like kind of, but you're like heavily gated by story progress before. Whereas now it's just sort of like, you just wander about, do what you want, sort of thing. So me and Aaron spent the whole weekend just getting into shenanigans, doing events and side quests and dungeons and stuff.
But do we know that if in the final game you can literally do the prologue, get it out of the way, and then just clear off to the Act 5 area of the game?
I don't know. I assume they'll put some limit on it.
Because outside of the odd world event showing up, and you can do it with people. Is it that much different to Diablo 3?
Yes.
Because I honestly don't remember a lot of Diablo 3. It's been so long.
I guess we don't know, but what it looked like when you opened the map was you had all of Act 1 to explore.
Yeah.
But it was all part of the same overworld map. Whereas you literally can't leave Act 1 of Diablo 3 until you finish the story and get teleported to the new zone, basically.
And even then, Act 1 of Diablo, every map of Diablo is just like, here is the map for this level. There might be an event on there. Do it if you want, but just please do the story.
It much pushes you through the story much heavier in the older Diablos.
You're just on rails. Even in the older Diablo games, they are open. They're not open world. They're open.
Yeah.
But they're still on rails. This is not on rails.
Yeah, I was gonna say, when you go to, you could see the other areas and they're like, oh, it's level 30 or something, and you try go to them, rather than there be like a hard gate, it just says you're going to an area that's not available for this beta, turn back around or you'll be kicked. So it's not like there's like a wall or something like you would expect.
Yeah.
I'm excited though. Like I said, I had a lot of fun with it. I don't play these games the same way that everyone else does. I tend to just finish it once and then that'll do.
I'm the same. For Diablo 3, I'd take ages getting a character to max level, and then everyone else like, oh, I got that to max level in like 2 hours. I'm like, how? That's took me like 7 days. And then also I didn't like in Diablo 3 how it's kind of like, every season it was like, make a new character. Your old characters are basically useless.
Or it's one of those games as a service forever game, isn't it? We want you to play Diablo forever. That's just where every game is now.
I mean, I hope there are seasons in Diablo 4 because the seasons in Diablo 3 were fun.
Yeah. That was the whole.
That's the point of the game, basically.
The campaign becomes like not even part of the game after a while, but Yeah, no, I thought it was good. I have a couple of things I wasn't too fond of, which was one was that I don't like the people just popping into your world at random thing. I wish I could turn that off.
I had
I
had a part when I was playing where a guy popped into my world, and he was going where I was going, or I don't know for sure, but he was going in the same direction, and all the like fights and random encounters were appearing when he was going through, and he was killing them, and I was just like a little bit behind. So I was like,
yeah,
you're playing the game for me a little bit.
yeah. I quite like, it's like it's quite a grim world, and it's like seeing like Fart Hoofer 420 running past me to go and do his dailies or whatever. I was like, I don't think I like this. I wish I could.
If you don't like it now, it'll be worse when they're all wearing cosmetic gear. And
cosmetics,
massive. Like Korean free-to-play MMOs with like massive wings that glow, and someone goes past on a unicorn they got from a Twitch Amazon promotion or something. Like that will happen.
Yeah, and I think that kind of thing, like if you extend that out to the whole, it's like a Lost Ark, like online always live service thing. I'm like, I don't know if I love that for like the idea of doing a weekly boss, on a reset to get gear. I'm like, that's not what I go to Diablo for, sort of thing. Like,
well, it's like when Steve said, "I'll make sure you hit level 20 to get the backpack or whatever that you won't be able to get ever again." My brain just goes to, there's going to be millions of things in this game that I'm never ever going to get. Like,
this is a sleeping wolf. It looks so cool.
Yeah, but there'll be 1,000,001 battle pass things and paid cosmetics I'm never ever going to get. Like, what's one more at this point? That's how I see it anyway. I don't know if this is on your notes, Will, but one thing that I found a bit odd was I wasn't a big fan of like the level scaling of random fights in the overworld. I felt like I'd be fighting packs of wolves or whatever they are, like werewolf, warg things, whatever. And I'd be like level, I don't know, like 3 or 4, and I would clear them with a button click. And then I would level up a bunch. I think I ended the game. I stopped playing around like level 16, 17 or something. And those same mobs would jump out the bushes, and I would still kill them in the exact same time. And it didn't feel like I was getting more powerful. That might be just like an early game thing.
I think, it's tricky to comment on those kind of things when it's like you can only get to 25, which is like the leveling points in Diablo are never. You go through like peaks and troughs as you level up in Diablo, right? Where you'll find a really powerful legendary. You'll suddenly be blowing up rooms with no problem. Then like as you get. Unless you're barbarian. And then as you level up more and that becomes like less good, then you'll start to have trouble again, then you'll find another legendary, and that's kind of just the process. So it's like, because I also I'm not 100%, I kind of miss the skills from Diablo 3 in that I don't want to go full back to Diablo 3, but like the leveling process in Diablo 3 was like every level you get something interesting, something new, right? It might be a new skill, or it might be I think they were runes, right?
Like a variation of your skill.
Like an old, and it might be something simple like, instead of 1 fireball, now you throw 2 fireballs either side of you, and you're like, oh, cool, I'll try that out. And in this one, at least the amount we played, I would level up and be like 1 more point in chain lightning. And that was just like, I didn't find that super exciting.
I had one point where I was going through the sorcerer skill tree, and I had maxed out all like the abilities that I wanted. And like you said, I didn't want to put like 1 more point into chain lightning or something. So I was looking around and I was like, what is this passive? And it was like 3 more mana. And I was like, okay. I use a lot of mana. That sounds good. So I took it, and then came out of the thing, looked at my mana ball, my resource, and I had 103 mana. And I was like, didn't really feel like a big change.
And it's like, it's tricky because I'm like, I don't want to be like, it was kind of leveling was kind of boring, right? Because I also feel like they kind of shower you in legendaries, and it almost feels like they're supposed to take the part of what the runes used to be.
Yeah.
Because it's like, instead of getting a level and being like, oh, my skill does something different, it was like every dungeon or every couple of dungeons or something, we'd get a legendary, and that would change like that. Instead, I'd put that on, and it would be like, now your ice shards pierce people, and I was like, oh, cool.
Okay. I never saw any of that. I never saw any of that. That sounds cool.
Yeah, I only got. I think I got 3 legendaries in total.
Steve showed me a screenshot of his character, and he was legendary out of his mind.
Yeah, I feel like post level 20, me and Erin were just getting like, we'd kill bosses, and she was like, 2? Really?
That's to appease all the Diablo Immortal pay to players that come in to play this.
Yeah, maybe.
That are used to dropping like 50 quid and getting 4 legendaries. Because you had all maxed out character, right, Steve?
Yeah, I had maxed out level 25 Sook with full legendaries. Not all of them were like ideal for me. Like some of them were like increases your fire damage. I'm like, but I'm an ice mage.
Yeah.
But still, it was they definitely dropped, and there were definitely some like interesting effects where it was like, oh, like my ice barrier now, whenever I move, it makes little shards on the ground, and definitely made the game a bit more interesting than like, because you had the talents, and as Will said, like sometimes it is you literally putting up a point just to level something up for damage.
Yeah.
There were like passes to like change the ability somewhat that you could choose, but I would kind of like a bit more.
Yeah, I didn't find those choices, that none of them were like really. I wasn't like, oh, that's tough. I don't know which one. I was like, they're always like, oh, you do more damage to stunned people, or you have a chance to crit or something. And I'm like,
yeah,
that wasn't super exciting.
It's tricky because I feel like when you look at what's the other one, like Path of Exile?
Path of Exile
with the massive skill tree.
Yeah,
and I feel like I'm probably going to piss off some people with my no knowledge, but like when you look at a massive skill tree, a lot of it's got to be like padding, right? Like a few stats here and there.
Yeah.
And it's like when I look at Diablo 4, it's very simple in comparison. It's almost like a straight line with a few branches coming off it.
Yeah.
But then I kind of feel like having the padding maybe makes it at least look a little bit more complex. I don't know what I want, is what I'm basically saying. It's like
I don't know if you can win. Really.
No. Because like the Maniac in me says I want a skill tree like Path of Exile size, but the complexity of of like something like Diablo, which is like that's not possible.
I mean, in my experience on Diablo 4, I wanted so many more skill points than I could get my hands on.
Yeah.
There was so much stuff I wanted to take that I couldn't take.
Yeah.
So, but then you get gear, which is like +1 skill in this skill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that stuff's really cool. So I can see it being like actually quite in depth, like builds end game.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly. That's like the problem with commenting on this stuff, right? I can say I'm not convinced with the skill trees and the depth so far, but it's like, well, we're level 25. We don't have. There was a whole level of skills you couldn't even get to in the beta.
Yeah.
And there was like this like Paragon system is always in, and apparently there's like whole new tiers above legendaries to get now, which is
oh god.
But what color is it? What color is it?
I don't know. Well, there's sets, right? Which was green.
Green always feels like the wild card in rarity in games. It's like you get a green item, it's like, what the fuck? What's green?
I feel like we decided like what, like blue, yellow, orange, and then it's just kind of a freestyle, right? Everyone like I remember was it like Borderlands did teal or something?
Green at one point was uncommon, which I feel like is just gone now. I don't feel like people do green uncommon anymore.
This is funny, but I actually looked up the other day of like who decided like the color rarities, and it turns out like apparently it was Diablo 1 who decided like the
was
blue,
it actually? That's cool.
Purple, orange, I
would have thought it was something like like an old game like Diablo or something.
There was an older game that Diablo took it from, but Diablo kind of solidified the current colors of like orange being legendary and stuff.
There's always one game that does it first that everyone forgets about, and in the following game, like popularizes it. It's like the whole cover shooting thing. where I think Gears of War popularized it, but there was a game that came out before. I think it was called like Kill Switch or something. It's like, actually, that game invented cover shooting. Like, okay. No one really remembers that. That's what it reminds me of. But yeah, it's like, so what we're saying, yeah, so this is what, like Act 1 of, I assume, 5 or 6?
It's normally 5 for Diablo.
Yeah.
4 or 5, yeah.
Yeah, I know you...
But it's nuts.
Yeah, I mean, you skipped a lot of the cutscenes, but obviously I won't spoil anything then. But the cutscenes in this were great. I thought they were awesome.
Yeah.
Again, can't wait to watch them, but I've got that thing where it's like, I'm enjoying the game, I know I'm going to play it, so I'm going to have that, try and keep as much of that pure first playthrough as possible.
The camera didn't move around right in Diablo 3 cutscenes. It was always top down. Right?
There was like there was like,
did it?
The CG cutscenes.
The CG
there was like,
but in game.
There was like in-engine ones, and there was like a very small handful of cutscenes that actually, and the rest was just like talking heads and stuff.
Yeah, because I feel like at least a lot of this like main stuff in this, you'll be talking to someone and the camera will shift and it'll be almost like over the shoulder, like Mass Effect conversation or something, and then it starts jumping around doing like cinematic shots. I'm like, oh, this is really cool. I like this.
Nothing like that. Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm shocked. The presentation at least is really good. It still feels like you watch that first cutscene where it introduces the villain, which is Lilith.
Yeah.
And she's like kind of mysterious, and you're like kind of threatening, and you're like, she looks really cool. And then it goes to in-engine, and it's like within like 10 minutes, your character kind of, you don't meet, but you have like a flashback that shows her, and she's become like WoW NPC. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And I was like, oh, and the only thing, and she has this cutscene where she's like, oh, I have to plan. You do this, you be bad, and I'll go and be bad over here. And it's like, oh, are we just gonna be following this character? You're
gonna be following her for sure.
Yeah, and I was kind of hoping. I don't know. I don't know what I was hoping.
I don't think it's like shit was
Blizzard's
happening.
writing's been a bit weird for a while now, right? But the presentation at least was awesome.
Well, she goes like, I feel like some stuff happens, and then someone goes to her like, "What do we do now?" And she starts walking away, and she says something like, "We need to prepare." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm not seeing you for like 5 more acts, am I?" You're going to your big Bowser castle across the world map.
Yeah.
You'll be in a few flashbacks or premonitions or some shit here and there, but we're not seeing you for a long time.
As long as it doesn't turn into it was Diablo 3 where it was like all the villains just had you on like speed dial, and they would just call you up every like 10 minutes to be like, "Hey, what's up? Still being bad. Can't wait to fight." Yeah,
You want to come over?
Oh, I beat my mini boss, did you? Oh boy, you wait till you fight the next one. Yeah. As long as it's not that, I'll be happy.
But yeah, this has jumped from a game that I was thinking about playing. Like, I might play this to like, suddenly that month has just gotten even more busy because now I've got to put Diablo 4 in the middle of it as well. For fuck's sake.
We had the obvious like, oh, it's Blizzard, they could mess it up, but it seems like they're going in a good direction.
It seems alright. There could still be horrific monetization, but
we'll wait and see for that. The only thing I will say is like, I feel like when you used to play like new Blizzard games, and it would be something they do like StarCraft or whatever, and it's like an old genre, but they're doing the Blizzard version of it, and you play it and you'd be like, oh, that's that's what RTSs have been missing this whole time. You know what I mean? And I feel like I wasn't surprised by anything in Diablo 4. It was just really solid. I kept waiting for that like feature to crop up where I'm like, oh, good shout, Blizzard. That's good. That's good shit right there. Good stuff.
It's the next solid iteration.
Exactly.
It wasn't within a stable or quote unquote stable franchise. Like it's just this is Diablo 4. It's like Diablo 3, but it looks prettier, and we've learned some things. And
exactly. Yeah. And it's you can't be like mad that I'm like, oh, it's just Diablo 4, because like just Diablo 4 is kind of what I was hoping for after worrying about Diablo Immortal and kind of what Blizzard's been doing. What Blizzard's been doing for the last 10 years or something.
It's really weird as well, where I kind of like that, at least so far. It's not done that like 1 versus 100 thing. It's like I've never really fought more than at most 10 things at once.
Yeah.
Oh, that's because you were
for sure.
That's because you were a barbarian. As a sorcerer, I was pulling hundreds. Just
But, like,
slowing it down.
True, yeah.
Oh, right, yeah, that could genuinely be true. Like, my experience as a barbarian compared to everyone I've talked to has been unjust.
It's so funny. Go on.
I was gonna say, like, I'd kill things quickly and everything, but like, I never had more than 5 to 10 enemies.
It's
fight
slower
once.
than like 3 for
And
sure.
It's kind of nice.
Yeah.
It's nice to not just have your entire screen just be like, here's 20 guys, like, now there's going to be 100. You have to have an AoE build.
Yeah.
We'll get there, though.
You can do what you want in Diablo 4.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely.
I do think I had the same thing as you, though, Sam, where I played Barbarian first, and I was going through it, and I was like, this is kind of challenging. And, like, they have the new potion system, which isn't just, it's like
I love that, by the way. I love that
which is like
system.
You have X amount of charges, and especially in boss fights, it's like you have to do enough damage that the boss drops charges for your potion before you can heal again. So it's like if you're struggling, like, some of those boss fights are actually quite tough. Yeah. And I was playing through it as Barbarian, I was like, they're kind of like not really, but kind of Dark Souls-ified, like Diablo, and I'm kind of digging it. And then I played on Sorcerer with Rogue backup with Aaron, and I was like, "Oh no, okay, no, this is so fucking easy."
Like, there was one werewolf boss. He was kicking my ass.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah, I had the same thing. Yeah,
I need to press the heal potion button, but if I press it and then I get the next chunk off and he drops 2 potions, I'm a potion down. I'm on a fucking clock. Like,
yeah, it is. Yeah. I
feel like I was playing Sorcerer incorrectly. I took the I don't know if there's like specific builds, but I was going like pure lightning, and my auto attack was like a melee attack basically.
I don't know about that, but so our friend Welchie went from lightning is incredible, why would I play anything else, to getting a bit of fire stuff and being like, oh, well, fire's pretty good. And then eventually was like, oh, I'll test ice out. And he's like, yeah, you know what? I kind of think I like ice.
Yeah,
and I was like, that must be nice to try each and everything and go, well, this is good.
That's like how I used to play World of Warcraft, where I play like mage, and I'm like, I'm a frost mage. And then I get to max level, and it's like, Arcane does more DPS, right? It's like meta, and I'm like, I'm an Arcane mage now. I changed to whatever is just most popular and what does the best.
Just have it. You got no commit. You got no commitment.
Absolutely, to your no loyalty to my build. It's like, fuck yeah, I love lightning. Lightning's the best. Fire does 10 more DPS, right? Oh, I love fire. Fire's the best.
That's what I think. That's what was so fun though. Was like you said, it cost nothing to respec. So like a legendary would drop, and it would be like, you fire 4 fireballs now instead of 1. And I'm like, let's go, let's try that out. And that would be the next like hour of gameplay or something until something else drops, and then change again. It was great.
That's good though. I think that's really good. Like constantly changing it up because you want to change it up, not because you feel like you have to.
That is one really criticism though I had was like I might be like the WoW in me, but I'm like I would have liked like a few talent builds rather than just having the one.
What do you mean?
Like saved builds?
Save some builds, yeah.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See, I don't want it to be gamified where you just like swap, because then you just save like the best. I don't know.
But then it just felt kind of bad because there were a few times where I was trying to. I did it all myself, and then I was like, okay, let's see what the guides are saying.
No,
like
I know.
Overpowered. And then I was trying to do it, and it was like, okay, this one. I was like, okay, I've got 1 point left over, so I fucked up somewhere. And it'd be like I tried looking and I couldn't see.
And it's like I know what you mean, because sometimes if you couldn't remove an earlier skill, if it would cause you to go down a tier of talents. So I ended up having some really weird juggling where I'm like, talent point in this new skill that I want, scroll the way back down, talent point back in the old skill that I want, scroll the way back up, swap another talent.
Oh, like placeholder talent so you don't lose your...
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and I had to do that. So
like a bookmark or something, yeah.
I see what Steve means. Like, I would like to just have a couple, like, builds that not that I've, like, researched or whatever, but just like a couple of builds that I've made.
Like if you want to change, like say you got like a brand new fire legendary, you have to be like, okay, let me look through every single talent and do like a whole fire thing, rather than I'll just switch to my fire spec for now. That'll do, and then just change one or two things.
Yeah, it's
not,
tricky,
not like limitations or anything, but just just saving time basically. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean they're already leaning into a lot of MMO stuff. That's just like one more thing, right? I guess like just have almost like character loadouts. You could do the same for gear if you have certain gear, because if legendaries are so important in altering spells, you're not only going to be changing talents, you're going to be changing gear as well at the same time.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I wouldn't mind gear loadout. Was there gear loadout?
I have no clue.
Or am I thinking of the transmog? Because the transmog is another one in the list of games where it's like just do whatever you want, we don't care.
Yes, how it should be in every single game. It's how it should be.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, because I noticed that I didn't touch any of the transmog in this, so I don't know how it works specifically. But I would sell a bunch of crap to a vendor, and a bunch of stuff would come up saying like, "You've unlocked this look, this look, this look, this look."
Yeah.
So I assumed it was going in some big like transmog box.
Yeah, there's a wardrobe in your little room at the inn, and you just go in and you say it's not even like you're overlaying it on gear; it's on slots. So you can just say, "I always want my helmet to look like this, regardless of what I put on it." Yeah, I love that. And can we talk about like how good this game looks? Like armor, at least I was like everything I was picking up, I was like, that's a fucking cool helmet I've just found. Like, and it was just like a random blue or something.
It definitely feels like they're leaning more into the like grimdark Diablo 2 look than Diablo 3. Do you remember all the jokes and shit about when Diablo 3 came out and people were saying it was too colourful?
Yeah, people were posting pictures of rainbows and stuff.
Yeah.
No, I never got that. Like that was one of the things I didn't like about Diablo. Was like I like variety, and Diablo was just like dark and depressing every single area. I was like, can I not just have like a bright forest to make the dark areas like more impactful?
I feel like you're in the minority. I feel like most people that play this want a really grim dark. Like the the opening CG cutscenes have like people getting killed and blood being turned into webbing and stuff, and it's gross.
I definitely know I'm in the minority. I just like the juxtaposition, it makes the dark areas darker for me if it's like, it's contrasting to some like light areas. But I do understand, people want just like.
I think it's like
in the game.
Diablo was grim dark, and then Diablo 3 was like grim dark, but like cartoony grim dark.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it was going for the same kind of thing, but it was all like very. Cartoony, basically.
Yeah, it was more saturated than this game. This game is very washed out. I feel it's very grey. It's very neutral. Again, this is Act 1, which is just in the most like neutral coloured area ever. So who knows if you go to hell or whatever? I assume it was a little bit. It's going to be a little bit red. But yeah, I thought it looked really nice, and it's a shame that you had the problems with it, Steve, because I found this game ran really well. We were playing on 4K on medium, and it was running fine.
Well, I've heard from a few people that it was like, especially like the multiplayer areas, there was a little bit of like stuttering and stuff. So I think it's more optimization that hopefully they'll fix. Because also I had the problem of when I closed down the game, didn't really close down, and I always had to like right click close it. So I think it was maybe I'll try uninstall and reinstall it and whatnot.
Maybe, yeah. This is like anecdotal, but I saw some guy on Reddit saying that he left the game open for like 10 hours or something in the main hub area, and it didn't slow down or get worse or anything, which is normally normally something leaks, some memory leaks somewhere.
Thank God that guy.
I did. Like I did see a lot of people being like, "This game is a RAM hog. It really does."
Yeah,
like
but
eating up your RAM.
Yeah, but it doesn't like you get like memory leaks where the game over time slowly runs worse. And like I
don't think it's a memory leak issue.
I think Scarlet and Violet do that, right? If you play them for ages and ages, they get like.
Archive also had a memory leak issue.
There's quite a few games that just happens and it never really gets fixed because it's just like just restart.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've got nothing else to really add about this. What about you guys?
No, I'm just excited. Like, it's unfortunate that for this beta they chose like the kind of the three boring classes. And that the open beta like that's coming up is going to have like the two a bit more like interesting that aren't the not standard.
Yeah, but the way you said that implies that the three that we've just had aren't going to be playable.
No. They're all five going to be playable. I believe.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. It's like, we had the three boring ones, and now they're giving us all of them next time. You know what I mean?
It did feel like just like sort of outwards looking in like simple terms. It was like this closed beta was, who do you want to play as? Do you want to be the melee dude, the magic dude, or the range stealth dude? And it's kind of like, I kind of want to be the undead guy or the bear that's sitting over there.
I saw Druid, and like, as someone that hasn't played Diablo 2, but played a lot of Diablo 3 where there was no Druid, I was like, please let me play Druid. Please. Like, I've got currently no monk boy at the moment. I need my monk, but I'll take Druid.
Yeah.
Oh, they're going to DLC the shit out of these. There'll be at least a few classes that they'll add in.
Oh, they best.
They only added.
They'd be stupid.
They only got one in Diablo 4.
Two in Diablo 3.
Yeah, we got Crusader and Necromancer in Diablo 4.
That was it. Yeah, I completely forgot they put Necromancer in Diablo.
But I was like Diablo so 3. Much later, wasn't it?
It was.
I feel like Diablo 3 kind of like did good, but people complained about it. I feel like Diablo 4 people were like, oh yes, please put every class in this.
Diablo 3 did insanely well. They all did.
I know. Actually, isn't Diablo 4 meant to be having PvP as well?
It's supposed to be open world PvP or something. Yeah.
But there's an opt-in thing, so you have to opt in for it. So like, you'll be wandering around, and I don't know to fully comment on it, but my understanding is like, if you're opted in, you'll still see people that aren't opted in, and you can't hurt those people.
Oh, okay.
You can only hurt other people that have opted in.
Well, surely anything's got to be better than Diablo 3's PvP, which I think they promised it at launch, and then it took them fucking ages to put it in, right?
and then all they put in was that shitty arena, which was Demon Hunter put down turret, vault away into a corner.
I remember I was never into it, but I just remember following the news story when it was just like, reading the story, it's been delayed again. It's shit, and just on the outside being like, you poor Diablo fans getting completely fucked.
Yeah, it was really funny because I remember reading blog posts about them doing like arenas and stuff before the game came out, and then it came out and they were like, yeah, we don't really know how to balance this, so we just didn't do it.
So we won't. It looked hard, so we just didn't do it and didn't tell anyone.